Hello, this is Ram Babu. You are 15 CS308 from Karun University. Throughout this program, I'm going to implement the linked list. So first we have to think why we need linked list instead of array, stack, and queue. We need linked list instead of array, stack, and queue because for array, stack, and queue we have only limited size, but in the linked list we have infinitely size, and we can insert the element either from front, last, or from the middle, and we can delete the element either from front or either from last. So that for implementation of this linked list, I'm going to use C++ language. So here I'm going to start from hash include iostream. That will be the preprocessor, and using namespace standard. And for the implementation of this program, I'm going to create a structure of list, and we will inside that structure we are going to store the data and the address of the next element. And here the pointer head should be initialized with the null. So and again I here I have again I have declared here the function like in front, in mid, in last, delete, display. And for why we have declared this function, I will tell you the reason. Because we have to do many operations in the linked list, that is insertion from the front, insertion from the mid, insertion from the last, and delete the inserted element. And finally we have to display the display the present linked list. So that inserting the element from the front, inserting the element from the front, so we need a new list. So we are creating a new list, and we are displaying a message on the screen like enter the element to insert at the front of the list, and we are giving the input as data what we are going to insert the element in that temporary linked list what we have created. And for that for insertion purpose, what we have created the linked list should that temporary next should be null. Because when it won't be null, we are not able to pass the address of the other element, so it must be null. So we are for insertion we will check a condition. If head equals to null, then we'll assign the head value to the temporary linked list, or else the temp next should be the head. And temp next should be the head, and head will be assigned as temporary. So that again we are going to insert the element at last. So for that purpose, again I'm going to create a new list, so that will display a message enter the element to insert at the front of the list. And again we will user will give and again we are going to give the input that we are giving the input as data to that linked list what we have created. So that temporary linked list, the next position of the that temporary linked list should be equals to null. And we'll check a condition is if head equals to null, then head will be directly assigned to the temporary linked list, else last will be assigned to the head. So that for that purpose I am going to use a while loop. Why we are going to use while loop? Because it will repeat it, because we don't know the size of the linked list. Whatever the size the user will give, it will repeatedly repeated till the next becomes 0. So that we have used this while loop. Inside this loop, the last element should be assigned as last next, and last next will be assigned as the temporary linked list what we have created. And we are going to use the boolean search. And for boolean search we had given a variable a of integer data type as an argument. This is not needed in this program, but it will search. Why we need this boolean search? Because it will help to know that what the user had given the data, the linked list, the data what the user had asked for that data or the address of that data, either it is present in that linked list or not, so that this boolean search will help to find out that element or that address of the element, that element. So it is asking for the enter the element to be inserted, that element should be searched, and again it is calling the function, and it will defined as temp equals to temp next. And again I'm going to insert the element at the mid. So again we are creating the new list, and will the temporary linked list will assign to as head, and will display a message on the screen like enter the element to be inserted, and that data to be to be given as that temporary linked list what we are going to insert at middle of the that linked list, so that it will assign, it will check a condition. Again that should also be assigned a null, because in that linked list in that linked list itself we are going to insert some element, so that linked list should be null. So we are checking the condition. If it is null, directly head will be assigned to the newly created linked list, or it will check within the while loop that if temp not equals to null, till that till when it will, till that the while loop will work, and will check a condition. If temp data equals to that number, then temp next equals temp 2 next equals to temp next, and then temp next value should be assigned in temp 2, that is newly created linked list and created node, so that it will break the statement, and again it will call the search num, and it will search display a message that element not in the list if we have entered, if we want to check. So again for deleting purpose we are calling the delete function. So we are assigning temporary linked list as height, and we are checking the condition. If temp equals to null, then simply it will display a message the list is empty, or else the head value will be assigned to the head next, and it will delete the temporary variable. Why it is assigning the head equals to head next? Because if suppose we are having a linked list, and we have inserted an element like 1 and 2, 1 at the first node and 2 is at the second node. If we are deleting from the front, the first element will be deleted out, and then the that pointer which was in the first position, it will point to the head next, so that we are using head equals to head next, and we are deleting that temporary value. And finally we'll display the display whatever the operation we have done, and for that purpose we are taking pointer variable, and that pointer will be equals to head, and we will check a condition. If pointer equals to null, then that list will be the empty, and inside the do while we will give the data, we will print out the data whatever it has stored, and pointer will be equals to pointer next. So will come in the main function. In the main function simply it will ask for the choice, and in each choice we will call so that we have taken this variable for taking switch case, and for each case we'll call the function. For case 1 we are calling in front, and for case 2 we are calling in last. For case 3 we are calling the search function, that either it is present inside the linked list or not. So in the case 4 we are we are inserting the element from mid, and for case 5 we are calling the delete function for deleting purpose, and finally for case 6 we are calling the display function for displaying. So at the last case 6 it will print default, it will print as a invalid input. So in each case we are going to we had used go to list it. Why we had used this? Because it will continuously repeat it repeat the continuously repeat the uh, information. So that this was my program. So I'm going to build and run this program, and now we'll check what will be the output. So now I am building and running this program, so see what will happen. So it is successfully compiled, and it's showing the choice what we had given in the program inside the switch case. So for the first one is insertion, second one is insert at last, the third one is search a number, fourth one enter a number in the middle, fifth one delete an element, sixth one is display. So I'm going to enter the first choice, enter it. So it is asking for the enter the element to insert at the front of the list. So I'm giving 2 as an input, so enter. Again it is asking for the choice, so I am giving 2, enter. Again it is asking enter the element to the insert at the front of the list. I am going to give 3. So I had given my element inside the linked list. So again it is asking for the choice, so I will put 3, enter. So it is asking the enter a number to be searched, so I will give 4 because we have given 2 and 3, and now I want to check the 4 is available in the inside the linked list or not. So enter. So what is it showing? It's showing that the number 4 is not present in the list because we have entered 2 and 3, so that only 2 and 3 is inside the that linked list. So that now we'll check the display function. So so it is showing that the present linked list is 2 and 3, what we had given inside the what we had given the input. So thank you very much.